What's up, everybody? Good morning. We've got a fun day ahead. I will be doing my stream during the Washington Huskies game like I usually do, the watch-along. Of course, the Huskies game is taking place at the same time as the Mariners game, so it's going to be kind of a double feature, I guess. Double feature usually implies back-to-back, but it's going to be simultaneous. So we'll be watching both, and we'll see what kind of stream we can make out of it. So, yeah, I will be doing that. Not really going to do a pregame video for the Huskies game because I'm having a hard time figuring out what to say because I don't know what the team is after seeing them play so badly on the road. I don't know if this is going to be a recurring trend or if it was just a thing where UCLA was a bad matchup. I don't know. So, I'm going to stream the game. We're going to see what happens, and hopefully things go well for both my teams in this afternoon. But this video is about the game tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Seahawks going to New Orleans to play the Saints in what used to be the Superdome. I think it's the Caesars Superdome now. And it's not a place the Seahawks have had a lot of success in. Apparently we've won in the Superdome twice, ever. I actually remember one of them. It was back in the mid-00s during the Holmgren era. So it's happened relatively recently, but it's not a place that's easy to win in. The league, in general, has issues winning in the Superdome. But that being said, this Saints team is not everything that I thought they would be, for multiple reasons. They're 1-3. They lost to Baker Mayfield. They lost the London game to the Vikings. That one made a little more sense. They were down several key players. They barely got out of the Atlanta game with a win. That game, Atlanta controlled basically the whole thing, and it just kind of got away from them at the very end. So this is not a team that has played well. And it's kind of important for the Saints to play well this year from their perspective, because this is not a team that is trying to rebuild, that is trying to build up for the future. They traded their first-round pick this year to get Trevor Penning. They messed around with the salary cap so they could maintain a competitive roster in 2022. They're trying to win now. And honestly, given the fact that they bent over backwards to field this team, I think their goal is to win a Super Bowl right now. They're kind of like us last year. When you don't have that first-round pick, you need to push everything you've got into winning now. And it's not happening yet. This Saints team, they've taken a step back in many areas, so I don't know what challenge they pose. They've lost their superstar head coach, Sean Payton. He is currently enjoying his temporary retirement. Dennis Allen has been promoted, and he seems about as overwhelmed as he was last time he was a head coach of the NFL. I think it was for the Raiders. So it's been some time, but seems to be a similarly not very good head coach so far. There's still time for him to turn it around. But overall, you're looking at this team and you're going, they're not as good offensively without Sean Payton. And Dennis Allen had that defense humming last year. But so far, this year, the results haven't been there. Atlanta scored on them. They did manage to hold Tampa Bay down. Tampa Bay's offense really not playing that well to start this year, though. And they eventually lost that game anyway. And the Vikings went up and down the field on him. Baker Mayfield's Panthers, one of the worst offenses in the league, was able to produce enough to win against him. So even though this defense still has the good players who seem to be playing well individually, guys like Cameron Jordan, guys like Marcus Davenport, guys like Demario Davis, Honey Badger, Lattimore, they have the good players. And those good players, I don't necessarily believe they're playing terribly or anything like that. It's just not resulting in a defense that is actually making life really hard for opposing offenses. We played this Saints team last year, and this Saints team basically gave up one play the whole game. And after that, it was pulling teeth to even move the ball a little bit. They killed Gino with sacks. They got to him 5 times. Completely took the game away from him at the end by just getting pressure on him over and over and over. And it was basically a game where the Seahawks made one big play on offense and then nothing else. The Saints defense this year probably won't do that again. Even though we're now playing in the Superdome, it's a dome. It should favor your offense. I know it favors the Saints more for multiple reasons, but this is not the kind of game where I expect this offense to just go out there and do nothing like they did last year. This is a game where I'm looking at this offense and going, okay, you're playing a defense that is not what they were last year in terms of results. The Vikings offense, which is good. The Vikings offense is good, but I don't think it's amazing. Had success against them. The Falcons with Marcus Mariota and mediocre at best receivers had success on them. So you put all this stuff together and you look at the way Geno's played, and the expectation needs to be you're going to do something out there. Maybe it's not going to be great. Maybe it's not even going to be that good. But it's going to be something. It's going to be something more than what you saw last year. So I want to see what this offense can do against a little bit more of a challenge. I know this Saints team on defense is better than the Lions. That's definitely the case. And they're probably still better than the Falcons. They haven't shown it at times so far this year, but I do believe they are at least better on defense than those two teams, and it's going to be more of a challenge. But it's a good test. Facing this bigger challenge, are you going to be able to do some of the things that you did against the Lions that were so encouraging? The creative play calling, using 3 tight ends to take opposing defenses by surprise. Running the ball not just up a gap, running the ball outside zone, running the ball pitch plays, stuff like that. Fly sweeps, utilizing every player on your offense. We saw a little bit of the Dwayne Eskridge stuff, a little bit of the Noah Fant stuff, the Disley stuff, the Colby Parkinson stuff. But the Lions are a defense that's going to give you all that stuff all day. You can kind of just do whatever the heck you want to do against that D. Saints, you're going to have to stick with it here. You're going to have to really commit to it, and you're going to have to find a way to continue those positive things from that Lions game. And I'm not expecting the same results, but I want to see the same process, okay? That's what I'm talking about here. We need to see the same process. I want to see Geno continue to play the way that he's been playing, even if it doesn't result in some monster 40-plus point game. I want to see us stick to those outside zone runs. I want to see us stick to the tight end, heavy tight end stuff. I want to see us stick to the stuff that got Metcalf loose against the Lions. And a really good corner, by the way, in Jeffrey Okudah. So process over results is my main focus with this team. I know it's not going to be the same results against this better defense on the road in a very hostile environment. This you don't roll into the Superdome and expect great things to happen. I know it's a dome, and I do think we're going to score some points. I'm going to say 17, something like that, 17 to 20. But I want to see the process. Stick to what worked so well. Stick to what your players do best. As for our defense, I mean, we need a win. We need to put some skins on the wall. And when I say we need a win, I don't mean we need a win in the win column so much as I mean the defense needs to do something well. They had Detroit right where they wanted them through the first 30-plus minutes of the game. They were doing great. I thought the defense brought it those first 30-plus minutes. And then something just went wrong. They scored 4 touchdowns in the last, 25 minutes? Just terrible. And that was an opportunity to say, we are here now. This is a good Seahawks defense. We have shown up. We're putting the way the season started behind us. And through those first 35 or so minutes, I thought it was there. But nobody remembers that now because of the way the game ended for you on defense, where you couldn't get any kind of stops. And you're getting Andy Dalton, backup quarterback. You're getting the backup receivers. You're going to get Olave and Landry, and I know that's not necessarily easy, but you are going to get Olave and Landry. No Michael Thomas, their number 1 receiver. That's big. You're going to get an offensive line that is going to be at least a little bit less than 100% because they don't have their most important guard backup, and guys like Pete and Ramczyk have not been fully practicing this week. And even though Kamara is playing, it's worth noting that he is less than 100% right now. So you look at this Saints defense. I'm sorry. You look at the Saints' offense, and they're missing some stuff. They've got backups here, backups there. What they had was not that great to begin with, by the way. This is not an offense that's really been that productive. I know Dalton played well against the Vikings. PFF really thought he played well in that game, actually. But you are not getting the best that the Saints have to offer. Now, I will say this. I don't believe that necessarily guarantees anything. I know Andy Dalton's a limited quarterback. I know that Andy Dalton is well past his prime. I know he's been around a while. I know he's been bobbing around the league for a bit. But you look at Andy Dalton and you see a competent quarterback, the kind of guy who can give us problems. He's not going to give us a turnover for free. He's not going to give us an easy turnover necessarily. He's going to be smart back there. We don't have a pass rush, and we're playing what should be a pretty good offensive line. So we may not be able to get a lot of pressure on Andy Dalton. And he might be able to just sit back there, make easy throws that are going to be there for him. Those easy throws are going to be there for him. So my thinking is that we, quite simply, and I wish I had some better way of putting it than this, we need to generate pressure on this Saints team. We want to be blitzing all day. If we blitz, I think we regret it. If we send a bunch of crazy blitzes and leave receivers one-on-one or open or just hope that Dalton doesn't see it, he's probably going to see it. That's what Dalton can do at this point in his life. He can still do those things. So Taylor needs to play better. Nwosu needs to continue to play the way he's been playing. Mafe needs to do something. We need to get pressure on him. And that may not happen. That's a dicey proposition. That is a difficult thing to make happen. It is. Because if you take a look at the way this team has been has been playing on the pass rush, the last 3 weeks have been completely pathetic, completely embarrassing, and now we're playing a good offensive line. And I will say the Saints have lost some of their brain trust in terms of their offensive coaching staff, and they're missing some of their players, but it's still not necessarily going to be easy. It's still a tall task to say, hey, we need to find a way to get pressure on Dalton, but we can't be sending the house at him. You just need to win your battles against these offensive linemen, who are really good, by the way. So that's the thing that I'm kind of getting hung up on when I see this game. Even though it's Dalton, I see him hitting checkdowns. I see him converting manageable third downs. I see him slowly matriculating the ball up the field. I see him not doing a whole lot of chucking the ball deep down the field. I see him just kind of taking it easy, benefiting from his good offensive line and moving the ball down the field on us. As long as he can avoid turnovers, I feel like he's going to be okay. And that says nothing of Alvin Kamara, who's given us fits before. And I don't know what's going to fix this run defense right now. It's probably just got to be time. The best case scenario is that later in the year, like November, December, our run defense gets better just because they've been playing together more. But right now, there's no magic bullet for this run D. There's just no opportunity to guarantee that, oh, well, we're going to have this guy come back, or we're going to do this schematic thing, and the run defense is going to be fixed. It's not happening. So I'm going to go something like 20-17 in favor of the Saints. I just think they're going to score just enough. I don't think it's going to be terrible. I think we will find a way to get some stops, prevent the worst. We're not going to let up another embarrassing game. It's not going to be like 27. It's not going to be like 35. It's going to be 20-24. But I think it'll be enough for the Saints to get the win. The most important point to make here is that the Saints are desperate. They're going to be coming at you with everything they have. So the Saints are going to give their best shot here, and I think that'll probably push them over the edge here. Okay, so that's my thoughts on this game. I think it'll be a good game. I think we got a chance. We've got some things we can take advantage of, but you're getting their best shot. If the Saints lose this game, it's probably just over for them. Although maybe not in that division. It probably is. 1-4. You don't come out of that. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Catch you guys in the streams later.